What the heck is up, everybody? Episode 5. We are back. Last Buzz podcast with a new look. We figured it out, boys. Or should I say, Alain Husky. What is up, my beautiful co host?
How you doing, Glenn? Yeah, like as you guys can see, we got a new background. We're using this new software that isn't lagging anymore.
No.
Goodbye, Wave Room, and welcome, EV Mux. Some
EV
some software that I found. We've been looking around a bit. We'll be able to do everything live in here. So hopefully it goes well, and we're kicking it off. Episode 5, baby.
Yes, sir. I got my boy with me. He's in Santa's workshop.
Facts.
Put some cat ganja in there, so he should be chilling. First time that I'm recording the podcast with him near me because he would jump on the keyboard. So I would put him in another room to say bye for 45 minutes to an hour and a half. So this is a test. But I think he's munching away there. So, yeah, man, how's your day been? How's your weekend been? Time to catch up.
Yeah, time to catch up. My day's been good. I've been back to the office. My gout is officially almost over. My foot's barely in pain anymore, so that feels good. Coming back from the weekend, celebrated Halloween with the boys and other of Sam's friends.
Nice.
Total of 20 people ended up at the cottage on Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah, we all thought it was gonna be kind of like chaos and mayhem, but we all figured it out. Like the basement was a military camp, just beds everywhere, and like one walk and one pathway just to the bathroom for people that to go do their
Yeah.
business.
That
in the middle of the
septic
night.
tank. That
In
septic
the
tank.
septic tank, each flush, that big machine would just start up. And I honestly thought we were gonna clog it by the end of the weekend with 20 people there with just two bathrooms, but
Yeah.
honestly ended up great. Fun times. I couldn't drink because of the medication, but
Oh man.
overall, good weekend. Shout out to the time change. I know people complain
Mm.
about it, but this was probably our lifesaver on the Sunday when we all woke up at like 8 feeling refreshed. Everyone was gone by 10 a.m. People went to eat breakfast back in Montreal. So early ending of the weekend. It was fun seeing everyone there. Nice costume. Shout out Kyle and Laurence that won the best costume.
Ooh.
They were basically the two twins from The Shining. And Kyle
Wouldn't
was
have gotten
dressed.
it.
Yeah, like he had the
Wouldn't have
nicest
gotten
wig.
it.
They low key looked like twins. It was kind of scary.
Interesting.
So yeah, no, it was pretty cool. How about you, Glenn? How was your weekend? First couple of days of the week.
Weekend was nice. Halloween, honest, like we're in an apartment building, so we can't really set up a trick or treat type of vibe. But honestly, very relaxed weekend. Sunday, like you said, it was unreal. It felt like 20,000 hours long. Longest day ever. But it is crazy now in Calgary, Alberta. It, you know, it's relatively dark in the morning still, but
Yep.
within, at 7:30 it's nice and light, but then at 5 it's dark, similar to you.
Hmm.
But since we're a bit more up north compared to you, it'll be crazy during the winter time, like
Yeah.
talking December, January. But honestly, relaxing weekend. Had to go shopping. All the boyfriends and fiancés out there know that Saturday you gotta sort of, you don't even dedicate. It's like
No.
there's no choice. You go to a mall and you hit up the Home Sense, the Old Navies, the Winners, the what else? Aerie,
Can't forget
it,
Costco.
Costco. Well, honestly, like we love Costco so much. We
Exactly.
went there Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. There's always
It's
something new that you wouldn't see the first time you go,
yeah,
and then you just see it the next day, and you always end
yeah,
up buying something. You go there with the thinking you'll buy one item, and your bill is $500,
a
and then
hundred
you're
percent.
wondering what happened.
Yeah.
Um, well, nice to hear about your weekend. Before we move on to the news and to this episode, I'd like to remind everyone, if possible, to please like and subscribe to the channel. Just a reminder, we have a little giveaway going on. So once we reach the first 1,000 subscribers on the channel, we will be doing a little giveaway. So we'll give a Fanatics uh, just above the practice jersey. Team of your choice, play of your choice. We'll figure it out once we get there, but it'll be completely free. All you have to do is subscribe. We really appreciate it. It's free, and yeah, it'll just help us support us into this podcast.
Yes, and we'll never fail to preface that we will be giving away just above a practice jersey because, like I said last podcast, mortgage, rent, car payments, food,
Yeah.
like we don't have $8,000 for your authentic pro jersey, guys. So, but yes, like Alain said, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Comment, man. I want to see some comments. We're gonna say a secret word at the end of the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
so we know if you guys are watching it. And to little smart people out there who just zoom all the way to the back, we're actually gonna have a word in the middle of the show.
Exactly.
Both words.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's talk about some hockey and some sports.
Yeah. Kick us off, Glenn, if you want.
I'm down. So early in the week, my boy Stamkos, it was his first game back to Tampa, to Amalie Arena. And of course, like any better would do, put in you sprinkle some money on Stamkos anytime goal, multi-goal, like 2 goals, 3 goals. You know what he did? 2 assists. That prick. And honestly, like, it was nice, jokes aside, it was nice to see him come back. They did a little video for him during the first period intermission, or I should say, like, the first commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like, I feel like they cut the standing ovation early. They're like, okay, like, sorry, bud, but you could have signed. We gave you the option to sign with your
Eight
team.
times three,
8 times 3.
lowest salary in the history of
Great
sports.
deal. Yeah, sound. But very happy for him that he's able to come back, and everything felt nice. It didn't feel awkward, I guess, for him. So really cool for him to come back. But honestly, what's more important is Tampa Bay winning that game. It just solidified my $100 bet come playoff time that much more. What'd you think of Stammer's return?
Yeah, I was pretty upset to see that Tampa went on to win that game, and that obviously our non-BBB bet didn't hit. I think I was one of them that was going to say that Stamkos was going to have 2 goals, but instead he gave me 2 assists. But no, like a nice tribute. Shout out to Tampa Bay for doing that. I'm happy that it's not a random player that got the tribute, like we've been seeing the last couple of years, that you play five games for a team and you get a video and a standing go. So
Yeah. Standing ovation.
that was way more fitting. Um, um,
It's crazy.
I'm looking at here in the notes that you
Yeah.
took. You spoke about my Habs.
Yes,
So
sir.
transition from your team to your favorite team to my favorite team, although it's both of us, like, we keep following them. But no, like, you're absolutely right. You wrote down in the notes that the Habs get absolutely destroyed at home, 8-2.
8-2.
I have to be honest, like, just watching that was pretty brutal. Like, I've been pretty fair with the team, saying that the Habs, although they don't have the best team, they've been fun to watch. Fun system. It's it's a veteran system. They look like they know what they're doing. They might not have the best score, but they just look good on the ice. It's fun to watch games. But this season so far, like, I see the meme that you posted here. I'll try to maybe post it on the screen
Yeah.
while I edit it. But yeah, the fans have been feeling pretty miserable. Each game is a
Yeah.
tough watch. It seems like there's no cohesion. The real fans are calling for St. Louis' head.
Really?
They're saying that, like, it finally shows that he's not a head coach. I still don't believe that, but there's some other fans are kind of hoping that the Bruins sack their head coach so he can come and be an assistant maybe in Montreal, and form that power duo with St. Louis. That's what I'm reading, that they're kind of hoping it happens,
Yeah.
like, especially with Montgomery benching Pasta in the last game and
Yeah.
in the third period, and for them ending up winning. So do you feel the same about the Habs game? I know you haven't been watching much because you're busy, but
Time
just the
difference.
highlights, it's even tough to highlight
Honestly,
anything from the game.
Well, yeah, the highlights are just Seattle goals, especially Brandon Montour, 3 goal,
Yeah,
three like he had a hat trick, natural hat trick. Like of all people to be ripping a hat trick against the Habs, that it's not so great right now for Habs. Yes, they have a decent amount of injuries. They have a very young team. Let's not forget that. People on Twitter before the season kicks off, they're always super pumped up about all of the additions and it feels promising. New season. Oh, the rebuild is finally done. But again, like you have to develop good standards, and it's still early in the season,
hmm
and they always seem to be getting injured quick. That's because of all the potholes in the city.
exactly.
But like fans have to stay patient. I think Martin St. Louis, there's a reason why he spent that much time in the league. I'm sure he was coaching some of his teammates on how to do this, how to do that. I don't think I don't think it's right for some fans to be calling for Martin St. Louis to be fired, but you know, let's say playoff time comes around and they're like what San Jose was like last year.
hmm
That's when you start to talk about, getting a new coach in because
hmm
that's the easiest thing to do is to instead of switching the personnel on the
Exactly.
ice, you fire the coach, a few of the surrounding guys. But who knows? I say be patient, guys. It's only the beginning of November, but you know,
Yeah,
this team's not going to make the playoffs and make the cup final a
no,
year
exactly.
after some good additions. So they need
Yeah,
to. There's still
and
some bright spots, but
and we still have to take into account, that like Liney's injured, like some of
yeah,
our players are injured, like say because the potholes. But Alain brought up a funny point, so I wanted to give him a little shout out that he mentioned um, I think it was the last game or the one before that the person that brought up that little spark for the Hab was Christian Dvorak, and once you reach that point, that's when you know you hit it low, when it's Dvorak that's coming in to score a goal and um,
yeah. Shout out Alain Coury. Yeah,
yeah,
Dvorak, man, again, yeah, if he's the one making your team a bit interesting that night, then there's an
exactly,
issue.
exactly. Like
But
he's like the big brother in the team. You can see Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, they all like revolve around him. They have a very good friendship. Obviously, doesn't reflect on the ice on his side this year, and for the
uh,
time that he's been with Montreal, obviously with his injuries. But like I think like his spirit's still there. Habs are struggling on the face-off dot. I saw a video, on the social media that they hired some specialty coach that's really like specialized into face-off. So he spent some time with the players this week. So I'll be watching the game today. I forget against who. Let me take a quick look, but I'll try to take a look at because I think they've been like obviously terrible. I've been watching RDS and they keep mentioning how like especially in the defensive zone. I think like there was one game that they won like maybe one or two draws only, and
yeah,
it's
that's
fitting
bad.
tonight's game Habs Calgary. So I'll be able to take a look
Ooh,
at Calgary and take a look at their lineup. I think Dustin Wolf starting for them. Their young stud. So it'll be a fun game to check out. I'll try to do a little recap on the next pod. Um,
yeah, that's a 5-3 win, Calgary, empty
Sam.
netter. So,
Now we'll
yeah,
be
man.
hoping for a goal Caulfield goal, keep his streak going. 10 goals, I think, in 11 games. He's been on fire, so
Yeah,
that's something that the Habs can be um, happy about.
it's yeah, excited for.
If I
Oh,
jump,
before we move on
yeah,
from the Habs,
go for it.
one of my coworkers yesterday, he asked, "You know what the H in the middle of the C of the Habs jersey stands for?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course, habitant." He's like, it's hockey." I'm like,
You're kidding me.
I swear to God, I thought it was habitant this whole time, Habs,
Yeah, I
right?
thought so too.
Apparently it's hockey, which I called cap. Let me look that up right now. But if you want, you can move on to the next thing. Marc Andre Fleury, another Montreal native. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Well, while you take that, while you look that up to see if it's actually Habitant or hockey. Yeah, Marc Andre Fleury. We all know he announced at the beginning of the season that this will be his final season in the league. Of last year he wasn't sure, but this year he confirmed that will be his last. So obviously one last game in Pittsburgh, where he had like crazy flashes throughout his career. He's still like an amazing goaltender. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes the Penguins did, and obviously he secures the W. Um, like it was great to see, like before the game, taking the pictures. At the end of the game, he was announced, I think, first start of the game. What I
Yeah.
found kind of funny was that at the end of the game, there was Sid and Chris Letang that waited for him, to do like one last like hug and accolade. But where was Malkin? Malkin was there before the game, but after he lost, he said, "Fuck it, I'm going back to
Yeah.
the locker room. I'm not staying to see his little ass go around the arena and give his little speech to the fans." So I don't know if he was a little salty or he just forgot, but that was
I,
pretty funny
I
to see.
I thought the same thing,
Okay.
but then I was like, wait a minute, like the reason why Crosby and Letang were out on the ice, they were second and third star. So Fleury
Okay,
was
that makes sense.
first. So I was
Okay.
like, but at first I was like, Malkin,
Okay,
he
okay, okay, makes
I guess
sense.
he actually didn't really like Fleury, but no, it was all the stars that stayed out, and
Yeah,
it
he's
was
like,
really
screw that
nice.
guy.
Yeah, screw that Frenchman. I don't like that Frenchman.
Yeah, and you mentioned like the Wild's looking good despite having a 50 million cap hit.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like I haven't been watching them, but I just feel like that team looks like a boring team to watch. So I'm
No,
curious
I
to see
feel you.
your opinion on it. I'll have to take a look at them. Maybe like once they'll play the Habs, if they have an early game in the East, I'll try to peek. But what? Why do you think the Wild are like performing so well, even
I,
though like half their players and half their cap is just buyout contracts?
I think a lot of credit should go towards their coach John Hines.
Hmm.
You know, after a tough firing last year, I forget the coach's name, but if you think of it, let me know. But John Hines, he always gets the team very like really into his system, and they play very well, and they buy in. And so far, like this team is 8-1-2, and they got $15 million working against them from prior, um, Suter and Parise buyouts. And Kirill Kaprizov, he's a huge reason as to why this team is dummying everyone else. Like he has like more than 21 points in the first 10 games of the season. That's remarkable. So, but honestly, anybody could play with that guy. You know, he'll give some random fourth liner nice goals and easy tap-ins, nice assists.
Yeah,
But that shout out to Jared Spurgeon coming back from injury. He's had
facts.
a tough time,
Yeah,
but Matt Domi, like from the Toronto Maple Leafs, absolute pizza through the sky, lands
yeah,
down on Jared Spurgeon's stick, rips it to Matt Boldy, and he
yeah.
had a nice shimmy, and there goes the overtime game extra point for them. So I feel
Yeah.
like they're doing very well. And, if you have Fleury, a 39-year-old, like great goalie as a backup to Philip Gustafson, who's playing very well, it's a great recipe for success. So
Hmm.
it'll be a surprise to see those guys make the playoffs because I think both of us had them out.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I think like they might be going through a good patch now, but in the long
Uh,
run, like I don't think they'll be able to sustain it. I double checked it. The old coach was Dean Evison,
I
which
think,
is now
yeah.
with the Columbus Blue Jackets. So yeah, he had a nice run with them because they've been dealing with this cap issue for a couple of years now. I think it's the before last or last season. So, but I
Yeah.
think he's doing good as well. Like Columbus needed some like a good veteran coach to help out there. So,
Columbus is
and
doing well too. Like,
yes, like with the roster that they have this year, everyone like was counting them out, but I
yeah.
think the players are just like lifted up and they've been playing like some of their best hockey
Yeah.
to start the season. So shout out to them.
Yes, sir.
Um, I brought up a point, so um, now I can't see his name. The Jesse dude that works for Bar Down, the number one Winnipeg Jets fan.
Yeah, yeah,
Always
yeah.
funny to see his content. Like he posted um, the expected roster at the opening of the season for Colorado, and to show basically all the injuries. Like I see
Oh
their
my God.
forwards, like more than half injured. Some of them are coming back. Lekkonen's coming back tonight, but they have Drouin, Landeskog, Ross Colton, Miles Wood, Nishushkin that has his own issues. All of them missing for the Colorado Avalanche, and they're
Yeah.
still like performing kind of well. Like, but they were struggling so bad with the lack of forwards on the team that they had to send poor Oliver Shillington. That's a D man, played for Calgary, um, on forward. I wish I
Crazy.
would have watched that game just to see how he would look out there. But desperate measures, desperate times require desperate measures.
Yeah.
So just shout out to them. Like Burrows was saying today, the shot merchant. Like
Back
he's coming
in.
back tonight, so he'll go back on his spot. At the top of the circle on the power play. I think. While he was gone and with all the injuries, like Ivan was
Ivan
taking that
Ivan.
spot, and that guy was just ripping it bar down on the power play. So I'm sure Lekanen will get his fair share of points now. So easy pickup for fantasies. If anyone's watching part of fantasies, Lekanen should be doing really good with the Colorado Avalanche coming forward. But I just thought that was a really funny point to bring up because,
Yeah.
and I mentioned, like maybe the athletic therapist that Montreal had that got fired because the pothole ended up there, and then their reputation's still going bad because everyone's getting injured. But
Well, think
uh,
about it. You got Drouin and Lehkonen, who were injured at the time of this photo,
yeah.
and they both played for the Habs. So those are both lingering injuries from all of the severe potholes. So Montreal needs to figure something out because
Yeah.
this is why the most man games are lost for the Montreal Canadiens. And you
Yeah.
got crazy French peppers ripping on these kids who can't put the puck in the net and win a puck from the corner. So everything goes to those orange cones and the potholes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll shoot it back to you for the next point. Well, actually, I'll just do a quick little segment for the Sharks. Sharks keep cooking.
Yeah.
No one was giving that team any chance. Like they started
No.
rough. They went on a little winning streak here without celebrating too. That is coming back tonight. So we'll see how that sparks the team having the number one overall pick back on the team. But honestly, shout out to them. Shout out to Mike Greer. That's been cooking.
He's cooking.
I'd like to compare it to Kent Hughes with all the changes that he's doing with the team. Recently they acquired Timothy Liljegren from the Maple Leafs. The Leafs got a third, a sixth, and Matt Benning back, which is a good veteran stay-at-home D. I think that if ever they needed him to play and come out during some important games with his injuries that come out, like Liljegren is a good young defenseman. Just didn't have the chance to play in Toronto because like they have a lot of players
They're
on the
deep.
field. So yeah, he's getting a chance on the third pairing with San Jose. I think that Mike Greer's been doing a great job, tooling that team for the future. We all know they're not going to be performing well. The Sharks are hoping to tank for James Hagen to reunite, like to have him with Celebrini in the future, a good 1-2 punch. But I'm curious to see what you think about
Yeah.
them Sharks, man.
Sharks, like with Lindgren with Celebrini coming back
Mm-hmm.
into the lineup and Lehkonen, what do you think on both of those guys over on shots? Those guys are going to be buzzing. It's an early BBB, technically no last goal, but yeah, man, Sharks to be 0-8 to start the season, it's really
Yeah,
tough.
yeah,
And they were against Utah, and I believe they were down 4-1 in I'm gonna say the third period, and they rattled off 3 goals to push overtime, and then they won it in overtime. So that is a huge morale boost, especially for those young kids. Those kids who just got onto the team. They're used to winning and winning with their junior teams and stuff like that. So to
yeah.
to come into the NHL and start off 0-8, it's just bad for honestly. It's a bad start for their career. But
Yeah,
I'd
it's
love to see the three
uh,
wins in
it's
a
a
row.
it's a great point you bring up. It's bad for the morale, especially like they've been bad obviously the last few years. So the players they get to draft are higher up in the draft in the rankings. They had success with their team. There's a reason why
Yeah.
they're getting drafted so high. And then to get in an environment where it can be a little bit more negative, like losing all the time. So good for them. Happy for Toffoli. I should give a little shout out to the ex-Hab that was here for season. Just doing really well there, teaching the kids how to play with a lazy mentality, but just finding ways
Mhm.
to score goals and it's awkward ass skating. But
Yeah.
yeah, shout out to the Sharks. Good thing that you pointed out that they're going a little heater. Um,
I want to
I'll go
bring it back quickly to
go for
Matthew
it.
Steinberg.
Yeah,
I was watching that Tampa Colorado game. Tampa, unreal win again. They rattled off 3 quick goals. Colorado looked brutal at home to start the game. But Matthew Steinberg, okay, this guy, he hopped 3 feet in the sky and dummied Eric Chernak. And I think it was, I was like, 5 minutes in the game, get him out of there. And sure enough, they did. But come on, man. You can't be. I understand your team is down and you want to be, you know, you want to make a name for yourself, right? And
yeah,
but to injure that's an intent to injure in my books. or in my eyes, sorry. Like clean hit, no problem, but as soon as you leave the ice with both skates, it's such a bad look.
Yeah.
But yeah, get that pigeon out of here, and yeah, we can move on to an absolute wagon of the team. Do you want to talk about this next team? It's a surprise,
I
big
was
surprise.
I was actually gonna say like what a surprise.
Yeah,
The team we're talking about, it might be obvious for some, it might not be obvious for others, but the
so
Washington Capitals. I think I trashed that team at the beginning of the year, saying, well, I think I had mentioned that the Capitals and the Penguins will be fighting for a playoff spot, but to see the Capitals just tear it up right now, I think they've been on the heater now. Ovechkin just scoring goals like he's like 25 again, not
yeah,
39 years old. Um, but no, he's been ripping it. He's back on his spot. I think like last year they were trying something new where he was like on the right side of the power play, which looked pretty odd to me.
yeah, yeah.
Put him back at the top of the circle, feed him pucks, and he'll score goals, and that's what he's been doing. Um, you can I think you can mention the second effort because I saw that clip. I think it was yesterday, the day before, but what an effort from him on
Yeah.
the back check.
I'm telling you, like this guy, like you said, he's playing like he's in his 20s. He used to be known for crossing the sauces pre-game,
Mm-hmm.
just rip a plate of spaghetti, but I think he would mix like ketchup and ranch and stuff. So I think Carberry, the coach of the Capitals, said, "Hey, if you want to actually break this Gretzky goal record and be a good team player here. No more crossing the sauces. So you know he's on the simple marinara. Get the acidity going through that body of his. And yeah, great effort to see him, of all people, 39 years old. It was a back to back game, or
Mm-hmm.
they had a game the next day. And this guy's ripping it on the back check, and he actually prevented a goal from, potential goal.
Yeah.
So as a captain, you feel like you want to do that for your team, and those younger guys who are new to the organization and stuff like that, they see a 39-year-old beast doing that, so you want to do that yourself the next shift, right? So everyone's bought into that system, and Carberry has them clicking on all cylinders, so it's great to see. And massive surprise, similar to like the Minnesota Wild. You wouldn't have thought they're doing that well at the beginning of the season, but and to touch on both of their goalies, Charlie Lindgren and Logan
Mm-hmm.
Thompson, like that's a sick 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
So like you feel like you have a chance to win every single game just based off of your goaltending and all of their acquisitions that they made during the offseason. This team's a wagon. This
Mm-hmm.
team's a wagon.
Yeah. The like shout out to the Capitals 8-2 to start the season.
Yeah.
I had another point between both. I think I'll skip to the like our before last NHL like news of the week. Like Ryan Whitney posted
Yeah.
on Twitter today that this week it was the first time that both Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby were named on the NHL's 3-star of the week in the same week. Which, when you
First
think
time.
about it, that sounds impossible. They've
Yeah.
been in the league forever. They've been dominating the league forever, and it's the first time that both of them get named as like part of the 3 stars. Obviously, there's only 3 players picked, but just to think of it, like two of the greatest players that we've seen probably ever in NHL never being named on the All Star team until
Oh the
towards the
yeah
end of the career is honestly pretty
yeah
crazy to see.
yeah the weekly stars. It's insane. Like to think. Let's say both of them have played 20 years. I think Ovechkin's like 21 or whatever, but 20 years, and the season is how long? Minimum of 20 weeks. Even it's more. It's like it's almost 35. So do the math on the amount of weeks that is in the NHL, and for
Yeah,
them never to be on the same week named as one of those 3 stars or two of the three,
yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah. Like and uh, it's like it sounds maybe like a random point, but today I was scrolling on Twitter and I saw like LeBron James had I think was like the youngest player. Like there's something there's a goal to my story, but LeBron James youngest player I think was like 25 points and I don't know how many assists. Youngest one, oldest one, and I did the math like LeBron James and same thing for Crosby, same thing for Ovechkin. These guys have let's say started in the league early, 18 years old, maybe 17 in some cases. They're in their late 30s now. So you can think that for more than half of their lifetime, they have been high performing athletes in their strongest league in the world in their
Yeah.
respective sport. So I thought that was a crazy fact to just think about it. You know, like
Oh
he
yeah.
started at 18, Ovechkin's 39. That's more than half of his life
It's insane.
being a high performance athlete in the NHL, and the same thing for LeBron in NBA. Like, just goats all around. I think we're just so lucky
Goats.
to see those like players play live. You know, like it's
Yeah.
something else.
Quick.
Um,
I gotta take a leech. There's
yeah.
bad. That's bad.
One eternity later.
Oh.
Hey, if we want to have no more editing in the future, I'm gonna force you to go fucking pee before each podcast.
I
No more
do.
PP breaks.
No, I do. It's because it's because I during work I don't really have the time to be like dummying water. So
Yeah.
after work I'm like fuck, I'm behind on my water, so I start chugging,
Yeah.
and then I gotta go, and then
Yeah,
we're
no, like
human, bit of nerves during
when you crush
podcast,
like the liters of water we do, like we're always in the bathroom. We gotta
and
talk about it.
no free ads, but Gatorade Zero, that's running through my veins too. So
Way cheaper than Prime, but Prime's still what a company.
what a company.
I'll help us on for the last point of the NHL before we go on to something else. But the Boston Bruins, they had invited Tyler Johnson as like for a PTO during training camp. He didn't end up signing with the team, but they announced it this week that he signs a 1 year, 775K, one year deal with the Bruins. I think a lot of the fans were asking for it. We see that the Bruins are struggling a bit this year. Obviously, like with the Montgomery rumors of maybe he's gonna get canned or not, and if he maybe lost the locker room. I think that Mikey Grinelli's wish finally got
Yeah,
finally got like I can't find the word I'm looking for, but the savior is finally there. Tyler Johnson will turn around the Boston season
yeah.
and save their season.
Yeah, his wishes came true, and shout out to TJ, man. Like loved watching this guy in his Tampa days,
Yeah.
and I think he played briefly in Detroit, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think looking for a contract. He's definitely past his prime, but Boston, they're struggling right now, and you can't say no to 775. Like
Yeah.
it's league minimum, but he's made his money tax free playing in Tampa. Not a big deal. But yeah,
Nice.
I think Grinelli is his agent. That's why he was pushing him so hard. So
Yeah.
he gets a nice cut of that.
Yeah, like he had a nice stunt with the Blackhawks last year. I saw like a picture of him. He was like
Yeah,
wearing the A with the team, obviously a younger team, but like I think he did pretty good. So I was surprised he didn't get a contract up to now, but I'm sure he'll do good. Like 3C, 4C with the Bruins, just bringing the experience and that talent. I think it'll be great. Um,
savior.
I think it's time to to,
Yes, it
to
is.
talk maybe our favorite segment.
Yes, it
Buzzer
is.
beater bet, baby.
Are you guys ready to lose some money?
Exactly. The
Because we are
BBB
struggling.
train is struggling. Glenn went in first week. We saw, he did good. His first BBBB. I
Yeah,
guess it was rookie luck or
rookie
like
luck.
big beginner's luck every time you
Yeah,
go and you go to the casino for his first time. Like you usually win some money,
yeah,
but this week, I'll show it up here in a second on the screen, but I'll show you Glenn's picks posted on Instagram. Unfortunately, did not hit this week. Um,
yeah.
Glenn was a little slow on the screenshot, so you don't see the actual result. But from his BBB bet this week, the only part that did not hit was
The over. The over. I had
the
Dylan Larkin and DeBrinket point,
over.
and sure enough, Detroit scores last, but it was only a 2-1 win over, I believe, the Buffalo Sabres. And sorry for not taking a screenshot early enough. Deeper explanation is I've placed so many bets since that I've also lost, but this became so like in the past that I couldn't get a nice black screenshot with the green checks and the red X. But I'll be better for next time. And honestly, sometimes I think to myself like these parlays are the reason why we are not winning. We got to be betting heavier on the singles.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, if we do last goal, it's like roulette. It's like 50, it's like 48% chance.
Yeah.
Worst case, like I think last goal in shootout, it doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like whoever scored that tying goal,
Exactly.
it's so
It would count for it, like I
yeah.
think like I'll show mine now on the screen. So I had
Tough.
I've been trying to, you know, I've been hustling this Ovechkin and Carson duo pretty much the whole season. And once again, everything in the parlay hit except Carlson. The assist didn't go through. I think that was a game that they ended up winning like 8 to something, and Carlson had no points. I think he was only +1, so invisible on the ice. So a little bit of an L
Yeah.
uh, for the boys, but I think we'll try to keep it a bit maybe a bit simpler in the next coming weeks. Like go back to our roots of maybe the last goal, maybe sprinkle in maybe a couple of shots, maybe not try to go with those crazy parlays, but keep it simple because so far, if we look at the summary of how we've been doing so far, I'm gonna put that on the screen right now.
We're
But
almost there. We're
Glenn,
almost there.
you're still on the positive.
Really?
So far, $10 bet,
Oh,
26,
nice.
25 won, so it's $16 positive. On my side, no win so far, $10
I
in the
love this
gutter.
chart. I
But
love this.
I'm sure we'll be able to pick you back up and make our fans proud. Once again this week, we'll post the buzzer beater bets because it's tough. We're in Montreal. We're limited to pretty much Bet365 and Mise au jeu, which are doesn't don't allow us to put our bets a week in advance because we usually try to get those Saturday games as the NHL has a lot of them. So there's more choices for us to pick. So it'll be different week to week. But like I said in the previous episode, keep an eye out on our socials, Instagram. I might try to start making those like TikTok videos of this parlay will for sure hit. You'd be a dumbass not to do it. So
Yeah.
far, we're 1 out of 2 type of vibe videos. So we might see those on TikTok at some point, but on Instagram for sure. Follow us on Instagram, and you'll be able to see this week's BBB bet, and we'll show you the result next week once again.
So this podcast is being released, I would say Thursday.
Yeah.
So for Friday and Saturday's games, I think you and I will both bet for the Saturday. So
Mm-hmm.
guys, keep an eye out for our socials. We will be posting our buzzer beater bets, and hopefully we can both rattle off a win. It'll be such a great vibe going into next week. So love that chart, by the way, Alain. Great work.
Thank
Keep
you,
it
sir.
up.
I'll try to find
Unbelievable.
something better to make it a bit more exquisite. But for now, my good old friend Excel will do the job, and
Yeah,
we'll,
man.
we'll, we'll be able to see our, our weekly dubs or our weekly L's. I think we can hop on to the final subject, our weekly F1 recap. Honestly, like since a year or two now, like I've been following the F1 like pretty much my whole life. I've always been like a fan, but these last few years I've been extremely invested. I think Glenn hopped on the wagon with us because of the Driving to Survive series,
Yeah.
which got I think a lot of fans going. So we'll keep those weekly recaps. I saw you wrote a nice little spiel, so I'll hand the floor to you, Glenn.
Yeah, man. So Brazil, great weekend. They had the sprint race, which honestly like wasn't a huge deal. We're more focused on this crazy situation with the qualifying. It rained so much in Brazil, Sao Paulo, that they had to push the qualifying onto the race day, and they couldn't even give us a time. So I think this was like maybe the fourth time in F1 history that the qualifying and race was on the same day. But holy crap, guys! Like with a poor qualifying and a five grid penalty for Verstappen, this guy started in 17th place and quickly right off the start of the race, he gained like 4 or 5 spots right off of the start, and then every lap he would beat people to the apex and just make that next, like he just kept climbing the ranks. And Lando Norris, what could we say about this guy's like failure to lead a lap after being in pole position to start the race? Like, what do you think of Lando Norris as a whole, as a driver, and do you feel like he's actually holding back the team with, like, they have the best car right now?
Yeah, like I've been reading a lot of like hate comments on Lando in the last couple of weeks, because obviously like when the stake got pretty high and like he had the chance, to win the drivers' championship if the stars aligned properly. And people are saying that he's getting a little bit more cocky than he usually was, but lately he's not able to back it up. It's tough like seeing him do so poorly on the race starts. Like you mentioned, like he does always so well during qualifying. Like both McLarens always qualify so high. Shocker, they do have the best car on the field, but then not being able to maintain that result. And like you mentioned, Verstappen's like 17th, and within I think the first 10 laps, he was already back in 6th place. Like he's showing again and again that he's able to make those moves when it counts. Whereas Lando's been struggling a bit more in the past few weeks. So like he's gonna stay. If he drops down to 6, he's gonna keep that 6th place for a little longer. Obviously,
Yeah.
McLaren has shown some flashes that the team decisions haven't been the best. They're trying to copy Ferrari a bit on that point, but um, definitely something weird that's happening. Um, can you mention a
Yeah.
bit more
So
about the other winners though of that Grand Prix if you want?
yeah. So what was crazy about this race? Okay, like so the qualifying was in the morning, and there were quite a bit of crashes that ended up, you know, manipulating or affecting, I should say, the the grid placements to start the race.
Hmm.
So, and I think they even had to move up the start of the race just because of like weather. But it was ironic because at the first formation lap, who was it that like that crashed?
It, wa-
Was it
it,
or
wa-
not
it was
crashed, but
Stroll. Yeah, it
it's
was
Stroll.
Stroll. Like that was the
Stroll being
funny
a
part.
troll.
Like I was seeing, like I saw a video today of a guy doing a recap too, but like because the qualifying had to be pushed to the Sunday, they started the qualifying I think it was 7:30 local time in the morning. So
Crazy.
all the engineers had to get there for 4:30 to start getting ready for the race. And what happens during those qualifying, everyone's crashing again. So like those engineers are just going through depression, like
Long
working on
day.
the car forever. And then Lance Stroll being Lance Stroll during the formation lap just loses control of the car, and he asks his engineer to restart it to make sure that he's able to go line back up. He has two choices: go left and go fly through gravel, or turn right where there's a nice little track waiting for him.
Beautiful track.
And what did Lance Stroll do, Glenn?
I don't think he wanted to race that day. He said, "Guys, I'm tired. I don't want to race."
No,
He's like, "Oh, engineer, please restart my car. Please reboot." "Oh, thank you." Quickest turn right through the gravel, like, or sand, I should say. Like, he beached himself.
yeah,
He just doesn't. I don't know why he even wants to continue
I
racing in
know,
F1. Like, buddy, we could tell you don't want to do this. Like,
yeah,
tell your dad, hey, can you just give me a check for like 500 grand per year? Like, I'll live off of that,
yeah,
chill with my girlfriend. But like, no, I'm sure he's getting a bit more, maybe like $1 million to be a crappy race car driver. But
yeah,
because of this, he beached himself, and that sort of aborted the start of the race.
yeah,
So another controversial part was when this happens, I think yellow lights start to flash saying
mm-hmm,
abort the start, but you're not supposed to leave your grid mark until a green light is shown.
yeah,
But Lando Norris and many others said, screw it. Let's do another formation lap, boys. Let's keep the tires warm and like the engine warm. But no, like I don't know what happened after the race, but the whole talking point during the race was these guys were supposed to get some sort of penalty
Hmm.
afterwards, but I don't think anything came of it. But
No,
then
I didn't see
this
anything about it.
the second formation lap screwed up. And can you recall? Because so much crap happened during that race. What was the reason why the second formation lap couldn't
Like
like it
I
wasn't
don't,
official?
because what I read was that like they were never supposed to do it, and they were technically supposed to go back in like the garage and wait there. So I think that like maybe that second lap was to basically make them go around back into the garage and wait there for them to finally be ready to do it, like go back into position with like a fake kind of with a formation lap. But it was honestly like a shit show of a weekend, which for fans was, I think, well, fans watching on the TV
It's
was
great.
pretty exciting. Poor people there in Brazil, especially on the
Oh,
Saturday,
oh.
waiting for qualifying. For I think it was delayed for a couple hours to finally just be fully canceled. So if you're one of those poor fan that just got the Saturday ticket for qualification, well, you took a massive L. Um, but another point that we can mention from this weekend that I think was pretty interesting is that, last week I was mentioning that, well, you were mentioning that a lot of race, like it was like one of the first times that there was
Race
multiple Grand
winners.
Prix winner, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was mentioning how, you know, we haven't seen any surprises yet, and are we gonna get a surprise? And we did in fact get a surprise, and it came from Alpine. Um,
Alpine, man.
Kind of a crazy weekend. Ocon finishing second, and Gasly finishing third. The two drivers that hate their guts, the two Frenchmen on the paddock, but that they hate each other, but they had to celebrate this one because they finished second and third. Massive jump for them in the constructors championship, but
Oh yeah.
I think that felt good to see. Those underdog teams perform well. Obviously, the weather and the conditions of the race helped out for sure in this fact. But I think that just brings a bit more excitement
Yeah.
for
Like
everyone.
the reason why these guys even ended up in second and third place was because of the rain during the race. There was a crash, I forget from who, but
I
George
think it was,
Russell.
yeah,
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, no, go ahead.
I think it was Colapinto that like crashed during the race, like
Yes,
completely destroyed
yes.
his car. Like
Yeah.
Williams again taking another L. Like one car couldn't even race because it was so messed up after qualifying. He is the only race driver and ends up completely totaling the car during the race.
Yeah, so when this happens, a virtual safety car is called into the race, and George Russell was adamant to his engineer, "Hey, like we have to stay out because I think this is going to be red flagged." But no, the team urged that he come into the pits, so him and Lando Norris they copied each other. They go into the pits, and then one, not even like a lap later, red flag is called. Which, when that's called, all of the cars go back into the paddock area, and they get to change tires for free. So at the time that this red flag was called, Ocon was in first, Verstappen second, and Gasly in third, and they changed their tires. At the restart, Verstappen quickly took back the lead, and unreal finish for those guys, second and third. And it's kind of shitty that people from two drivers from this small town in France, like they don't get along. But it was nice to sort of see them rekindle their relationship after such a great performance, or
Yeah.
we should say lucky performance.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that the little hatred they had towards each other. I think Ocon is not one of the most loved driver on the
No.
paddock. He's a very controversial, driver that takes a lot of risks. So, but shout out to Alpine, and I think like one way that we have to conclude the episode is to talk about your favorite driver, Sergio Perez.
Sergio Perez, man. Like, this guy, for the whole season, has led the race, or a race, for one lap. Okay. He's in a Red Bull. Okay. 504 laps have been led in Grand Prix by Red Bull, 503 coming from Verstappen. So Perez just not doing his job
Yeah.
as a good second driver. And Ocon, like he led for 17 laps this race in Brazil, and they Alpine. It's not even a Formula One car. It's
Nope.
straight up a boat that you
Yeah.
could dock and everything.
Literally.
Perfect conditions for a boat, though. You know what I mean?
With the
So
rain, so it was fitting for them to explode
yeah,
for that one game, for that one race. Sorry.
it's crazy to see how you can land yourself a great job and just suck. You just suck at your job. So I think Formula One fans hope that this is Perez's last year with Red Bull.
Yeah.
Go with a shittier team. We like the drama that you bring, but you should not be driving the arguably the best car in, the whole
Yeah.
sport. So
And what a downfall! I remember like a couple of years back when he was with Force India, and people were thinking it was gonna be his last race, and he ended up dominating
yeah,
the final race to earn a seat with Red Bull. So kind of sad to see. I'm sure like he's still a great driver, like you say, but
yeah,
just a miserable year for him. I don't think he's having any fun
yeah.
this year.
He
That's
yeah
for
he
sure.
he wants to forget the season, and I'm hard on him, but it comes with the territory when you're a professional athlete. Like you
Yeah.
will be scrutinized for poor, um, you know, efforts, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, that recaps the F1 weekend. I believe there are 4 races left or 3 races left. I know Vegas is next, which should be pumped.
It's gonna be crazy.
Which should be legit or
Yeah,
super
it's a
crazy.
tougher track, obviously, because they're racing in the middle of Vegas. I think they're going back with the same like formula this year. They have a few corners are very tight and higher than 90-degree turns. So, well, I'll be curious to see how that goes. But yeah,
Yeah,
very
man.
excited for the F1. Um, Little shout out. We forgot to put the word in the middle, so maybe you guys that skipped to the end to find the magic word to put in the comments. We'll be lucky this time, but next episode we won't forget. This week's word, I think it's only fitting that we put Perez in the comments for the GOAT. The guy that
Perez.
Perez in the comments, the guy that's been scrutinized the most and most observed in on the race field, obviously because he's racing for one of the greatest team in F1. So if you got to this point, don't forget to put Perez in the comments. Don't forget to like.
Perez.
Another reminder to subscribe. First 1,000 people to subscribe will enter a giveaway for a Fanatics jersey right above the practice. The practice jerseys, the player of your choice. We'll see if it's impossible to do that, but it will be our pleasure to thank you all for your support. We'll keep on filming. Shout out EV Mux for
Evie
this
Mox.
really well done platform. And on that, I got nothing else to say, but thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.
Peace.